Hello, I'm Hanifa Shabazz, President of Wilmington City Council. Well, what I've learned over the years in leadership, and we're talking 15 years of it, is that it's all about relationships. It's about knowing and applying the tools of leadership at the right time. You know, some people think leadership means that you're always directing, but leadership is by example. It's by, if there's a job that needs to be done, is roll up your sleeves and being by example, doing that job, getting your hands dirty, making sure that you don't demonstrate that you can articulate what needs to be done, but you also are down to earth enough to be able to get down there and get your hands dirty with everybody else. Finding the best in the persons that you're leading and helping them to fulfill their gifts and be the best they could be. Because a person that is fed information, a person that is fed support from a leader, a person that is given the tools, you will have an army behind you that will work for you to no end. As the first woman president of City Council, I would like to share some words to my upcoming emerging women leaders. Being involved in civic engagement is something that comes from the heart. I encourage our young women to be sure to know the rules. Once you know the rules of any entity, organization that you are applying yourself to, the bylaws of an organization, the mission of a corporation, the constitution and charter of a city, when you know how things work, then you know how to get things done. And looking to get things done, you also need to know who you're doing the work for. If you're doing community service, you need to know your community. You need to hear their voice. You need to be an excellent listener. And then you can interpret it personally, because most times we women, our roles, responsibility of family, we can know how that might feel or what is somewhat best. As your role as the female, the nurturer. And that passion and knowledge is so very important when you're applying yourself to public service. So don't lose that intuition that we women are blessed with, but know what you are working on, because once you know the rules of the game, you can master the games. Well, as we're ending this session and moving on to new leadership, which is just the cycle of life of government with new administrations coming in, let's build on the foundation that we've already had. New leadership comes in with new ideas, but you can't throw away the old ideas. You can build on them, and if some things do need to be changed or possibly manipulated, but the important part is that this government is owned by the people. So we must be able to continue to listen, continue to build on what's already happening, and be innovative and out of the box to come up with ideas that are ones that's going to be beneficial to all of the people, which is sometimes difficult because we do have our little family, we do have our favorites, but we have to, by our oath, make sure that our efforts and our legislative perspectives and initiatives are something that's going to beneficial all. Right now, we are working diligently to right some wrongs. It's been evident of the inequities and disparities that are happening and are written into the policies of government. And so I hope that the new administration continues to balance those inequities. Because in order for us to have peace and justice, which is the cry of the day, that we do what is required of us, and that is to bring freedom and justice and equality for all. And so building on what we have, adding on to what can be, using and researching best practices. We don't have to reinvent the wheel, because this is not just happening in Wilmington. This is happening, our social ills are happening across the entire country. Use best practices and try something. If it just, it might be unorthodox, try it. If it doesn't work as legislators, you can correct the law. The legislation is fluid. We're going to make mistakes. And if it doesn't work, we're going to change it back until we get it right. But just work collectively and agree to disagree. Work collectively to do what's best for the people who put us in those particular seats, because this seat is not ours. In the words of our infamous former city councilman, Mike Brown, this seat doesn't belong to me, it belongs to the people. So remember that. So remember, for all of your news and information related to Wilmington City Council and the happenings around the city of Wilmington, stay tuned to WITN 22. Follow us on social media or visit our website at wilmingtoncitycouncil.com. Have a great week, Wilmington.